Hey guys, so today I wanted to talk to you about the story of how I went vegetarian and how it's going, and some tips on becoming vegetarian if you are thinking that you might want to try out being vegetarian. So yeah, maybe this video will help you, and let's get started. I remember the moment very clearly that I kind of said, okay, I'm gonna do this, because I'd always known that being vegetarian was a thing, that it was an option. I had some friends and family that were vegetarian and even vegan, but it never really was something that I thought was attainable for me. I always thought it was very interesting, and I kind of liked the idea of it. I always kind of romanticized like being vegetarian and not eating meat, not eating animal products, all that kind of stuff. Actually, I kind of thought being vegan was crazy when I was younger, but I understood being vegetarian. So growing up, I kind of always thought in the back of my head, that'd be cool. If I could do that, that'd be really cool. I love animals. I always have loved animals. In high school and in college, I started learning more and more about the mistreatment of animals that are, raised and slaughtered for consumption, and just how badly they're treated. And then I started learning more in depth about how bad it is for your body, for your health, all of the hormones that those animals are pumped full of. Sorry, my kitty is trying to attack me. Anyways, so I kind of gradually started learning more and more. I, was shown some of those videos of cows, and chickens in... Stop it. Cows and chickens that are stuffed into tiny little cages, and footage of animals being tortured and killed, and it always made me really sick to my stomach. But I still never really thought, well, I'm gonna go vegetarian. It didn't really. I was like, well, I'll just not think about it. I just will pretend that I didn't see that, and that it's not actually what happens. And if I try to do things like, maybe I'll eat, like organic chicken or cage-free eggs, then I might be making a difference. But that wasn't obviously the case. So flash forward to this time last year, or a couple months later, last summer, my boyfriend and I were at the local county fair, and it kind of like clicked in my head to me that year finally. All those animals that are at the county fair, they're there being sold to be slaughtered. All the cows, they all have names. And people are bidding on them and purchasing them to slaughter and eat. Same with the pigs, same with, the chickens and whatever else. And there was this little like baby animal, little petting arena that we went to, and there was baby cows, baby calves. And I don't know if you've ever seen baby calves, but they are like the most adorable thing on the entire planet. They're these like light brown little things with these big ears and these wide eyes and these cute little noses, and they're just so sweet. And I remember I looked at Kyle and I was like, that they're gonna be raised to be slaughtered, essentially. One day. And he turned to me and he said, well, I'll go vegetarian if you will. And I was kind of like, okay, are we doing this for real? Because I will. And from that day, forward for a couple weeks, I was like, all right, I'm not gonna eat meat. So I completely just cut it out. I just didn't eat any meat. I didn't eat a whole lot of meat before that anyways. I would have chicken every once in a while, or fish. But I was like, all right, I'm just not gonna buy any more meat. And he didn't really stick to it, and I was kind of like, what the heck? You said that you were gonna go vegetarian, and that's like the reason that I'm doing it too. Or at least that was the reason that I like jumped into it and did it. And a couple weeks later, he was like, all right, fine. And he kind of jumped into it, and then now here we are, like 9-10 months later, and we're still vegetarian. And honestly, I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it actually was. It's ended up being one of the easiest things I've done. Now, giving up dairy, on the other hand, is something that I would really love to do and have yet to do. And that's going to be a really hard thing for me to give up. Not only because of the addiction factor, but because I feel like it makes meals feel more complete to me, or maybe more filling. So it's really difficult for me to find a whole lot of meals that don't include some form of dairy, like butter or milk or cheese. The milk is easier for me to replace because I'll just use coconut milk or almond milk. I actually don't drink milk in general. I don't drink dairy milk. I haven't really. I never really drank it as a kid very much. But cheese is like my guilty pleasure. So, like I said, the actual going vegetarian part of it wasn't really that hard. It was just rather simple. I just stopped buying meat. So eating at home wasn't the issue. It was more so eating out at restaurants, or going over to like family members' houses or at holidays. And one thing that still gets to me is when I talk about being vegetarian and people ask me, well, how do you get protein? And, you know, people do the same thing to me when I tell them I don't drink dairy milk too. Well, how do you get calcium? And it really kind of blows my mind how trained we are to believe that meat is the only way to get proper protein, or that dairy is the only way to get proper calcium, because so many foods have protein in them, and I eat most of those foods. So like beans and rice and peanut butter, and you know, almond milk has protein, I'm sure, and calcium in it. Any sort of like leafy greens like spinach or kale, I make a lot of smoothies with that stuff. There's so many ways to get protein and calcium. Sure, there are things that when you go vegan or vegetarian you might be missing out on. I'm not to that point in my journey right now where I am choosing to supplement with vitamins yet. I probably will someday, but there's a vitamin for everything. So if you're not getting proper nutrients from the foods you're eating, there's always vitamins to take if you know, don't really want to alter your diet. So now I'm going to get kind of into the tips for going vegetarian if you are interested in being vegetarian, or have always wanted to but never knew how, or too afraid to make that jump. I think first and foremost, do it for yourself. Don't do it for anyone else. Do it for your own reasons. If it's ethical, or if it's, you know, for your health, whatever it may be, do it for you. Don't do it for someone else. Because then when people question why you're doing things, you know deep down why you do them, why you're doing them, and you know that you wanted this. It's not, they're not going to make you waver in what you're doing. I think number 2 is everything is difficult to get started. I think you just have to do it. I think you just have to one day make a choice that you're not going to buy meat at the grocery store anymore. I think baby steps are really important. So like I said, I didn't eat meat a lot anyway, so I had kind of been phasing it out for years. So when I made that jump to not eating meat, it wasn't so hard because I didn't really miss it very much. The things that I missed were more so like eating out, like sushi, or McDonald's Big Macs, or you know, anything delicious that you usually have at a restaurant that has meat in it. But the reason that you're missing those things is most likely not actually because of the meat. It's probably because of what else is in it, and it's addictive to you. Find an alternative thing to eat. It's not that hard. Or you can always have them make something without meat in it at a restaurant. That's something I like to do. So I think baby steps are really important. Like I said, maybe limit yourself to eating meat once a week, or say, okay, well, I'm not gonna buy it at the grocery store. I'll still allow myself to have it every once in a while when we go out to eat. Or I won't get it when we go out to eat and I won't get it at the grocery store, but maybe if we're at like a family gathering, like a holiday or something like that, then I'll eat it. And by the way, you don't have to tell anyone that you're vegetarian or not. There's no reason that you have to tell people. If you're choosing not to eat meat at home, but you're gonna eat meat somewhere else, you don't have to tell people that. You don't have to explain that. You don't have to give them any, you don't have to justify your actions. So yeah, I think that's my next tip, my number 2, is just to take it slow and go with what's gonna be easiest for you. When you find it getting easier to not eat as much, then maybe jump to not eating it at all. I think my 3rd tip would be, when people give you a hard time about it, don't let it get to you, because it's your life, it's not their life. They have no say. They don't have to stop eating meat if they don't want to. And like I said, you don't have to justify your actions to anyone. When people ask me like, oh, how are you getting protein? My normal response would be to try to defend myself and try to give them information about it so that they, you know, are reassured that I'm getting enough protein. But why do I need to give them that? Why do they deserve that? Why do I need to explain myself to people when it's my body and it's my life and it's my choices? They don't have to do it if they don't want to. Not trying to force anyone to do this. It's my life, it's my thing. So I kind of came up with this new response that I'm going to try out the next time anyone asks me a question like that. I'm just going to say, I'm not concerned about it. And I'm going to leave it at that. And if they keep asking questions, I'm just going to continuously say, I'm not concerned about it. I'm not worried about it. I'm not concerned. I know it's all going to be okay, and you can believe it or not believe it, but that's what it is. So those are my tips for going vegetarian. That's my story. I have dreams to be this amazing plant-based or one day vegan in terms of my diet and everything and lifestyle, but now is not that day. I never thought I would go vegetarian, but here I am. So I'm sure one day I will become vegan and I will be super excited about it, but today's not that day. I need to take it one day at a time, baby steps, and I'm really excited to see where this journey takes me. So if you guys want to see more videos like this, talking about what I eat or being vegetarian or anything like that, then leave a comment down below. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and please subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Have a good one, guys. See ya.